Welcome back. I got another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder for you. It means, of course, that this video is going to be less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds. Now, I'll keep things brief. I'll move through the material quick and get you back to enjoying your Sunday. Now, do me a favor. Just take a moment, like the video. And if you're not a subscriber, please think about that before you leave today. It helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below and let people know what you're thinking. Throw up some horns, whatever you want to do. It helps the video get out there to more people just like you. It is important to remember with this case and all the cases I discussed, no one has been found guilty of anything. These are just my thoughts and speculation on the topic. Everything, of course, is alleged. Now, anyone that's been following the case of the Idaho 4 has seen and heard about the affidavits from SHREDS, that defense expert, eyewitness or witness on phone data that can allegedly prove Bryan Kohberger was not in Moscow in those early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. Now, SHREDS first showed his expertise to us when he testified in that hearing in Latah County, and in these affidavits, he goes into it as well, and it's staggering the amount of experience this guy has. He made attorneys Bill Thompson and Ashley Jennings look like fools then, but these affidavits that dropped really fired for effect. I mean, proving that they lied when putting the warrant and probable cause affidavit together that got Bryan Kohberger arrested. I would be surprised if someone doesn't lose their job or get disbarred over this, honestly. I mean, in my opinion, they should be brought up on criminal charges. I mean, this is a death penalty case. I mean, that is some serious, shady business doing that when a person's life is literally on the line. Now, SHREDS points out the difference between the types of data that are used to track the location of the cell phones. And I'm not going to get all in the weeds with the technology end of it, but apparently Ashley Jennings and Moscow detective Mowry were at the heart of this whole thing, played all sorts of shenanigans to give the data that they liked some light and the stuff they didn't some darkness. And the whole lot of them, though, were involved, and that would include Payne and probably Bill Thompson, of course, all allegedly. Now, Ashley Jennings lied when she said they didn't get that better AT&T data on Bryan because it wasn't available at the time. Instead, they're relying on these phone pings from the towers, which you know is very unreliable. They're only using one tower or maybe two, but still without three, you can't triangulate and get the exact location. So those are very approximate. And we know that that's not a very good way of doing it, especially with the new stuff. And she told the court, of course, that they didn't have that to use. But what she didn't tell the court, and SHREDS proved, was that they decided to use that better data on 3,800 plus phones in the area using AT&T. 3,800 phones they ran to see who was where, but yet with Bryan's phone, they ran it separately. And then the results apparently came back with nothing on it, meaning he wasn't anywhere near there. And they were searching from 3 to 5 a.m. So that completely blows, that thing up, not to mention the whole shadiness of lying and falsifying reports and who knows what other, things they did that could be potentially illegal. Now, that's not a good look. I mean, honestly, I don't see how this goes unpunished. That's a blatant lie to avoid using data that would have been exculpatory to the defendant, which of course means it would have helped him. I get that the prosecutors want to win the case, but don't they take an oath to be truthful in that pursuit of justice? I mean, I just don't get it. You would think at the end of the day, they'd want the right person behind bars, even if it means having to show the defense something that could potentially end the whole case for you. It's just not right. And how do they do this? And how many other times were they doing this where this has been going on in that county? Who knows? Who knows? Now, it's not just Latah County, but FBI Special Agent Nick Balance appears to be just as involved. Apparently, he was one of the investigators on the case. He was stationed at the Moscow Police Department where they all were. So he was an investigator on the case, and he's also their lead expert on the case. While I think that's okay to do, it's definitely not a good look to have your expert be one of the investigators. It lends itself to all kinds of shadiness, which here we go. We're in Moscow, and that's all we got is shadiness. They also used an inside contact to get their phone data and not the normal way that you do it. And that completely nullifies that evidence. So, I mean, that just sounds like that whole fruit of the poisonous tree thing. I don't see how they could use any of it, really. And this thing just sickens me, as I'm sure it does a majority of you guys watching this. I mean, we don't want to believe that law enforcement would do this and lie to put someone in front of a firing squad. But when you really think about it, what would their motivation have to be to do this? It would have to be something so extreme to create this sort of deceit. I mean, are they covering this up because law enforcement was involved somehow? Who knows? Or were members of law enforcement getting money to help the flow of narcotics on the campus and northbound to Washington State? Who knows, right? We've seen stories like that. It sucks, but it's reality. I'm not accusing anyone of this, but there has to be a reason to jeopardize your law license and your freedom by setting this guy up. I just don't understand it. Now, Syray and Ann Taylor go into more detail in these affidavits that call into question the reliability of the video that they have of that white Elantra. It seems like they were, selective of the cameras that fit their timeline with images that can't prove or disprove it was Brian or his car. And there's a missing 7 minutes in the timeline that could be a way to play this game to eliminate video that shows the white car was not, somewhere else. So they eliminated the 7 minutes so they can keep on their timeline. I don't know. But according to Syray, Brian wasn't even in the state at the time. Another thing that's interesting is one of the individuals going through the phone data for Syray and the defense is Josiah Roloff, and he is a very renowned expert. Ironically, he was the expert that busted them out in the Dr. Moore case. If anybody's familiar, I did a video on this. I may do another one just to refresh memories. But Dr. Moore in Idaho, that's a case to check out, and how the police played games and played with timestamps on videos to get him busted. And the lead detective from Idaho State, Tolleson, he's the lead from Idaho State on the Idaho 4. So go figure. Now, these upcoming hearings on April 9th and 10th are going to be huge. And this is when the judge is going to rule on some of these affidavits and maybe throw the case out. I mean, I just don't know, because of these ridiculously terrible actions from the prosecution and the police. And nothing, though, on this case would surprise me. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this one. Comment below what your thoughts are. Also, I'd like to mention, check out my website, PeteAltieri.com. You can pick up one of my books, like this one here, Creation of Chaos 4. This is a short story collection. This is the latest one. I've got 3 others, and then 2 novels as well. So whatever your fancy is, but it's dark, it's dreadful, creepy, weird, that kind of thing. Old school Stephen King, Clive Barker, little Poe and Lovecraft in there as well. Each of my books, though, comes with a color bookmark and poster and I hand sign the book for you as well. So PeteAltieri.com. I link to that in the description. Big thanks to the members of the Horns High Club. You guys are fantastic. Today is the first day doing a members only live for them. So if you're not a member, there's a link in the description. You could do it, $1.99 a month. And I'm going to be doing a weekly live just for the members to get your ideas, your thoughts, your questions, whatever, talking about Idaho 4, Delphi, whatever you want to talk about, I'm down. So please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. And we'll see you guys next time.